I wanted to demonstrate a big trigger point releasing activity that we do, an exercise that we recommend for people that have real tight hip flexors, especially when it comes to the psoas belly itself. And what I'm going to show you guys here is, if you'll kind of pan over, this is just one of our anatomy train posters. And what this is not so much that it is the musculature, it's the fascia that surrounds the muscle itself. And so as you can see here, this is what we call the deep frontal line. And all of this that you see with the adductors, the pelvic floor, obviously the retroperitoneal area of the body and the actual abdomen, but all of this tissue here is bound by that fascia. And when it becomes tight and restricted, it affects all of those joints that kind of are intertwined with it. So with the psoas itself, it starts on the front vertebral bodies of the actual lumbar and comes all the way down into the hip itself. So it's your major motor driver for hip flexion. Kicking sports, our gymnasts, swimmers, things like that. We see this a lot where it gets really overused because either the lower pelvic floor and the core is not maybe as functional and strong, maybe the glutes aren't doing their job right, but also our folks that sit at a desk all day long, that muscle's staying short. So what you'll find that when you start doing some stretching with it, sometimes you're only really getting into the quads, like with a couch stretch. Sometimes you have to actually get high up into your abdomen with something like this is called an orb ball. And we've actually just taped this up just so you guys can see it a little bit better because this would be blue on blue. If you're a smaller individual, like our kids, or just really a smaller, petite, maybe female, use a lacrosse ball. It won't be as dense itself. So I'm going to have at least kind of step back. What we're going to do, so that muscle itself runs just in this kind of order, in this fashion as far as from origin to insertion. But your belly button, what we're going to do is come off of it about 1 inch to 2 inches. You don't want to put the ball anywhere around any bones, okay? It's just going to end up aggravating all the tissues that insert on that area. So we're just going to come off of that and put it right in here into the stomach. Again, if you're a smaller individual, just use a lacrosse ball. But for me, I use this orb ball a lot. This is a muscle for me when my back might get a little tight. I do some releasing, and it makes so much difference in my hips and my low back. Just kind of get down on the ground, come off that belly button. When you first start this, just kind of get on your elbows. Try to relax your breathing. Don't really kind of compress much or contract much into it. Just relax your body into it, feel yourself fall. You're going to feel a stretch that's going to go all the way up from your diaphragm and your oblique, and then sometimes down into the actual pubic bone. That's okay. You're not hurting any organs. They'll move out of the way. You're not going to actually damage anything, but just sit into it until you feel it kind of release. You can take your leg, you can turn it out. You can add a little bit more aggressiveness to it if you actually try to stretch. Again, those fascial lines and those trains that you saw in that poster, we want to really get into those areas a little bit. So kind of twist, smash that tissue out. You're going to go side to side. You can also kind of move up a little bit. Reach really far, dig into that oblique and get into that kind of that corner of that iliac bone, but again, don't get on top of it. And go side to side. You'll know it releases because all of a sudden you'll feel all that tension that you felt in the pelvic floor relax.